Folks, we've got a major update on the David situation. Okay, his right-hand man, Neo, is apparently flipped on him. And this is going to be a very, very bad look for David in the grand jury investigation that's ongoing. It seems like Neo is over David. He's not trying to protect him. He's calling him out. He's calling him a very offensive word that I won't say at the start of this video. But yeah, there's some pretty crazy updates. So we're going to get into all of it right now. So we all remember this moment, all right? This was one of the last big dramatic things to happen in this David situation, was when Neo was captured in Montana, hauled back to Los Angeles to face the grand jury. Everyone was speculating in Reddit that maybe he'd plead the fifth to pretty much everything. He was in there giving testimony for 40 minutes. There's been a lot of speculation that he might have been the last person to drive the car, but now he has slammed David, called him a D-head. You know what that says. Claims he knows a lot. He's called him out, all right? TMZ is airing it all out, but he took to social media to basically call everybody out. It says, David's good friend Neo is a friend no more. At least that's the way it seems based on how he's privately torching the singer. Neo, as you know, was arrested last month for failing to appear before a grand jury in the apparent murder of Celeste Rivas. Apparent murder, allegedly, in my opinion. And David is the prime suspect, allegedly, in our opinion, okay? Neo, who appeared before the grand jury for only 40 minutes, clearly did not offer much info, but now he says he knows a lot. So he posted this to his story. The story's popping right now. He said, thankfully, I'm legally fine in every way, and boy, do I got all my receipts for things. Ha 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 ha. Oh boy, David's in trouble, okay? According to Neo's private Instagram posts, he posted via his close friends, didn't stay close friends for very long. Of course, the Reddit was going to devour all of this. Okay, I already read you what that one said. And it said, and then the 23-year-old streamer dropped the hammer. He said, I told so many people that I trust and I thought knew me as a person, my side of things, all for that to be thrown out the effing window as soon as I get arrested and they slap that D-head's name next to mine. He said, I think the worst part is I've told so many people that I trust and I thought that knew me as a person, my side of things, all got thrown out the window. As soon as I get arrested, they slap that D-head's name next to mine. And for the record, the thing I was arrested for, I wasn't even charged. They never filed it, and my warrant was retracted because there is more to the story than what's on the news. Neo, we need to know what's going on, man. We need to hear everything. So apparently there's more going on than meets the eye. It says TMZ broke the story. Law enforcement sources say David took what they believe is a mysterious middle-of-the-night drive from LA to a remote area of Santa Barbara in the spring of 2025, months before Rivas's body was found in the trunk of David's Tesla near his LA home. We're told that David was accompanied by another person. There were online rumors it was Neo. After Rivas's body was found, Neo scrubbed his Instagram of any sign of David, and that was him leaving court. We saw that extensively. Okay, it says Neo's lawyer told TMZ Neo played no part in this heinous crime, and he, ... continues to be wrongfully persecuted in the court of public opinion. Okay, is it time for us to become Team Neo? He's called out David. He's called him a D-head. He's coming out like he's got a conscience. Now, you know, maybe a little rest in peace to Celeste would have been nice in there. But anyway, TMZ basically released a long video, a massive David update. Harvey at TMZ loves a big David update, right? Always does well for him. But at the end of the day, they've brought a lot of information to the table and their reporting is pretty mostly on point, okay? So Harvey gave an update. He gave more speculation on what's happening behind the scenes and a little teaser of what he thinks is going on with this grand jury.
So it seems that he is saying, number one, and by the way, his lawyer echoed this to us. His lawyer said that Neo has absolutely nothing to do with what the lawyer calls a heinous crime, and that Neo has been smeared on social media and in the court of public opinion. One of the reasons the lawyer is saying that is we broke this story that in the spring of last year, David took a mysterious trip, at least that's the way authorities characterize it, mysterious.
So it's interesting, right? Because Harvey's pointing out the details about this trip to Santa Barbara. It's getting tied in with Neo. He seems to always know a little nugget more information than everybody else. Obviously, they say that he's friends with David's lawyer. You know, that's not been played its course really in one way or the other yet. But it's like Harvey always seems to know a little something. And the fact that he's conflating these two things, I think, means there's definitely a big connection with Neo in this trip.
His trip from LA to Santa Barbara in the middle of the night in a remote area of Santa Barbara. And somebody else was in the car with him. There were a lot of people who were speculating that it was Neo who was in the car. And there was talk, rumors, that Celeste may have been in that car as well, although we have absolutely no knowledge of that. This was swirling around social media. Her body was found in the trunk of David's Tesla in front of his LA house in early September. So the question now is what happened between Neo and David. Something clearly happened. And based on what we know, this may be somewhat of a surprise to David that this happened. I can't say more than that, but this may have caught David off guard.
See, he's saying, I can't say more that he knows something. He knows a little more than everybody else, okay? And he's saying he thinks David was probably caught off guard by this. Probably thought he had Neo right where he wanted him, but apparently not, unless this is all for show and they're secretly in cahoots behind the scenes.
Neo is broken this way. And I think it's significant that whatever Neo was involved in, he says nothing. He says he knows a lot about it. He says he knows a lot more that was in the news, and what has been in the news is a lot. And he's...
A lot of people think that that's him kind of saying he's going to snitch. Maybe he's going to work with the authorities, saying, hey, he knows a lot more than people think. Who's he going to share that with? Does he know enough to put David in a lot of trouble? Does he know what was Celeste doing around town before all this went down?
He's saying he knows a lot more. So it seems like he is just waving this in front of David, but something has happened between the two. In the meantime, we know that the grand jury had been meeting. They were supposed to meet this week. They did not. So we don't know if the grand jury has completed its investigation. The grand jury could recommend an indictment. Everything we're hearing is that an indictment is likely, and it could come soon. We don't have any kind of time frame. The DA's office has not given that to us. But again, there was no grand jury activity this week, and that's a sign that the grand jury may have done its job. We don't know if they voted yet, but stay tuned. There is a big development.
He seems to suggest that there is an indictment coming soon from what his little behind the scenes informants are telling him that an indictment is coming. That's really interesting, okay? Now, obviously, private investigator Steve Fischer had a whole lot to say, all right? He basically is dissecting Neo's statement that he made on his close friend story. He said, so here's the thing, Neo, if you have to tell my side of things, that means that you were involved in the things. You just want everyone to believe you did less of the things. People who weren't involved don't have a my side of things. And how tone deaf are you exactly? Your Weep for Me post has 11 references to you and not a single mention of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. I did say an RIP would have been nice. Who is dead? She's dead because of the things that you're trying to explain away. Nobody cares about your feelings, Neo. This is about Celeste and justice in her name. That's pretty savage from Neo, from SF, okay? I'm going to read the statement again and we can catch all the eyes. I think the worst part is that I've told so many people that I trust and I thought knew me as a person, my side of things, all for that to be thrown out the effing window as soon as I get arrested, and then they slap that D-head's name next to mine. And for the record, the thing I was arrested for, I wasn't even charged. They never filed it, and my warrant was retracted because there is more to the story than what's on the news. Definitely a bit of main character syndrome going on there, if I'm completely honest with you. Now, obviously, this is going absolutely crazy over on the subreddits related to David. Everybody is basically catching up with the news. All right, Neo speaks out. He's calling David a D-head. It's definitely going down for David. They're saying, is it me? Is it just me, or is he speaking with the confidence of a man who's not on tape moving with the Tesla? Kind of sounds like it to me. So he's casting doubt on what Steve's been putting out there. He says, I'm wondering if one of his receipts is a text from David to move the car and David explaining the smell as something else. People saying I said the same above. And a genuinely innocent person doesn't say I have receipts, ha ha ha. That's something a guilty person says when they think they've gotten away with it. I don't know if I would completely believe that. I want to see these receipts. Neo, drop them, man. Drop them. Just drop them on Reddit. People will do their thing. It says, I feel like this is his way of giving a statement without actually speaking to TMZ directly. I think he leaked this himself. Otherwise, he has a really shoddy friend on his close friend story, linking stuff to TMZ as soon as he posts it. That said, if he's so confident he's in zero legal trouble, it can't be him on video moving the Tesla and such. I'm curious who it is then. People saying, I don't know how it automatically cancels out the moving a Tesla. Surely two things can be true. He was asked to move the car and had nothing to do with it. That would be a pretty sterling receipt. People saying we're going to need that more to the story part. Said, could he have made him do stuff without him knowing he was implicating himself in it? Also, what truly concerns me is why wasn't he formally charged? But they're saying the only answer was that he wasn't involved in the actual crime, judging by the people of California versus David Burke. He should tell. He should snitch fully, right? I don't know if there was another story. This is interesting because it shows he's got 5 stories, but I've only really seen 2. But maybe it was unrelated stuff. Saying, looks like Neo already removed the post from his account. Did he think nobody was going to see it? If not, why delete it? I reckon he wanted people to see this. He knew this would happen. He's seen everyone talking about him nonstop. People saying, I bet he ratted on David for everything, so maybe he's been given some kind of immunity plea deal because he betrayed his friend and ratted, his mind will need to create a subconscious reason. Looks like his reason was he was a D-head. Neo, really don't try and jump ship now. You're cooked as F. They're saying, how is he cooked? Not trying to defend him, but he's speaking pretty confidently in this post, so I would assume he really has nothing to do with this. Wouldn't it be possible he innocently moved the car as a favor for David if David asked him and he had no idea about the body? I could see it. All right. It says crazy how when Asia says she wasn't part of this, people are still jumping through hoops to connect her to it. But Neo makes an IG post and everyone here says, oh yeah, maybe he moved the car as a favor. We will forever blame women for men's crimes. That's definitely a thought-provoking comment. Okay. It said, what happened to the original IG screenshot TMZ posted? When I first opened the article, there was a post from Neo that said something like, so glad I'm leaving / not living in that shoot hole LA anymore. Then referenced the D-head once again, put my phone down and came back. It's on TMZ's Instagram post. I knew there was more to this. What else is there? So happy I'm moving out of this F-ass state. Sick of the drama, sick of the fake people, sick of this shoddy-ass status culture where people care more about money and clout than the basic level of human connection. That's a bit crazy coming from him, but okay. All right, but look, there was clearly more to it. I wanted to see that. They're saying Neo's flipping the script. That's for sure. He doesn't want to be associated with David anymore. He's doing the right. He is kind of doing the right thing, the smart thing. If Neo is innocent, then why the hell didn't he go and testify at the grand jury when he was supposed to? Neo's the dumbest innocent person for getting arrested because people will think he's more guilty. Now they're saying, what does he know? Okay, let's move on to another post and see if there's any more insightful comments. Okay, that was on D4VD's. This is David 2. Neo speaking out. All right, they're saying, something doesn't smell right. Okay, they're suspicious. You weren't screaming to the heavens the whole time you knew this little girl was at that guy's place. All of a sudden you get arrested and now you want to claim innocence. They're saying, is it possible that David made him move stuff like the car, for example, without letting him know what he was implicating himself in? Also, why didn't he get formally charged? The question is he doing this to cover up for himself or is he sincerely being screwed over for a friend? If David is willing to mess with a young person 4 years younger than 18 and would have chopped her up and placed her in 2 bags, it's not surprising that he would screw over a friend. He's already the most heinous person. Him betraying a friend is nothing compared to what he's accused of. So yes, it's definitely a possibility. People saying, yeah, he knows a lot for sure. And is he showing those receipts? They're going to say he's singing like a canary. Plea deals coming. Smiling in the mugshot and then trying to convince us he's the good guy is crazy. They're saying Neo knew that David was grooming. He was deprived of any morals. I don't care he's suddenly against him. He was on his side until he got caught. Okay, do tell. We need the tea. All right. This is probably the last post that I'm going to show you guys, and it's related to Steve Fischer's comment. Okay, so we already saw this on his Twitter. People saying, just wake me up when they arrest David. I feel you. I feel you. It's about time, allegedly, in my opinion. But it says he's right, but he also said a whole lot of nothing. I'm still not convinced Steve has anyone on video moving the car, and I'm usually a Steve apologist. So I appreciate the impartiality. I'm in the F Steve camp, and I fully believe he's out for attention. However, I also agree he's right about this while also saying a whole lot of nothing. And I believe that if he did have any evidence worth substance, he wouldn't actually have it because police would have taken it. So maybe he's seen it, but he doesn't have it. Saying Neo is a dirtbag, but Steve is just disingenuous as hell. Steve and the whole community have been ranting and raving and crying and whining for Neo and everyone else to say something and make a statement about him being involved. And then when he makes a statement and it isn't what they want to hear, they complain about him talking about himself. All anybody's wanted to hear was his version of what happened. It's disingenuous and bad faith as F to try and pretend they wanted to hear anything except his version of things. His version could be, I had nothing to do with it. Not that we'd believe it, but we also don't need to hear any BS from Neo about Celeste. Keep her name out of his mouth unless testifying. They're saying he hasn't got a conscience. He's a clout-chasing weirdo. I just think this is really, really bad news for David, okay? If his right-hand man's is calling him a D-head, and this isn't some kind of behind-the-scenes play, he's going to be in a whole lot of trouble. Whether or not this is Neo basically saying, look, I've just got evidence that completely separates me from any crime, or he's saying that he's actually going to flip on David and give information, I don't know. But clearly, this is definitely bad news for David. I'll keep you guys updated, okay? I basically dragged myself out of bed to make this video, but I needed to update you guys on what was going on because I'm seeing it everywhere. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. I'll be back with more content tomorrow. Peace.